Hello, it is Throwback Thursday, October 21st, 2021. Steve Sipress here with a gorgeous sunset going on behind me that, as usual, the iPhone camera does not catch in all its glory, but it is beautiful. Hope it's beautiful where you are, too. And so today is the birthday of Judge Judy Scheinlin, who was an actual judge in a court in New York City before becoming the most famous and wealthiest judge in modern history, at least, earning $47 million a year salary, reportedly, net worth nearly $500 million. And she just concluded her 25-season run with her show Judge Judy, or as it's affectionately known in the Sipress household, Judge Judy, because it was my mom's favorite show, always recording on the TiVo back then. And there it was, up, on the show list of shows to watch. It's always on twice in a row every day, Judge Judy. So I would always say, oh, look, Mom, Judge Judy. And now my beautiful wife, Michelle, loves the show. And there it is on the DVR list, Judge Judy. It's always on twice every day. And I remember years ago looking it up during Sweeps Week, when they do the ratings to figure out the charge for advertisers, they would put on 2 first-run shows in that day. And during the beginning of the season, when they had like a whole bunch of episodes saved up over the summer, they would put out 2 new episodes for like the first month of every fall when the season starts. But then it would always be a new show and a repeat, and sometimes 2 repeats. But I digress. Judge Judy, a phenomenal success story. And at the end of this, her 25th year of taping the Judge Judy show that just ended a few months ago, she is now about to debut a brand new show on Amazon, something about Judy Justice, I think it's going to be called. So she's going on to do more of what she does. And this one, I think her daughter's going to be on it, so maybe that'll carry on the legacy and will become judge, whatever her daughter's name is. But man, mega success, lots of business lessons to be learned. She took her real life, it's very similar to entrepreneurs who take their job and turn it into a business. They go out after X number of years working for a corporation, they become a consultant, and often their first client is that corporation that had employed them, and now appreciates that they can pay them on a contract basis without having to pay perks and benefits and get them desk space and secretarial support and computer and phone and all that. And, but they still appreciate that. Well, she took her career as an actual judge. And as the legend goes, I remember that the People's Court, we used to watch that when we were in law school back in the day in the early 80s. I graduated from Boston College Law School in 1985, and all my roommates went to Harvard Law School back then. One of my best friends from high school went to Harvard Law School, so I lived with them. And every day we would watch Judge Wapner of the People's Court. Well, as the legend has it, when that show ended, Judy Scheinlin called up the producers of that show and offered to take it over and be the new judge on the People's Court. And whoever answered the phone, like never heard of her, laughed in her face and hung up. And ouch. That's like the stories you hear of, I could have bought Apple stock when it was a penny stock, or I could have bought Bitcoin at $5. Now it's worth $1 bazillion. Record high, I heard recently, Bitcoin 66,000 something. Anyway. A few years later, I should have looked this up before here, but as I remember, 60 Minutes, I think, did some kind of episode on her as like America's toughest judge or something. And then she got a call to do her own show, and the rest is history. $47 million a year, plus I think she sold the rights to all her past shows for $100 million or something, and now she's doing a new thing, and that'll bring in a lot more money and fun and notoriety. She said, she always had fun doing it. She loved the fact it was real cases. I remember she said something about when they first brought her on for the Judge Judy show, they were fake cases, they were staged cases, and she said I couldn't adjudicate them, couldn't do them well because the job of a judge, here's the main business lesson, very similar to a salesperson, small business owner, job is to find the truth. And she said, how can I find the truth when there's no truth? Like, normally one side, their rendition, their recollection, their, argument has more truth to it than the other side. She says, when neither side has any truth, I can't do my job. I can't find the truth. Or as I like to put it, figure out who's lying. That's her job. Figure out, that's a judge's job. That's a salesperson's job. Figure out when the prospect is telling you the truth, when they're yesing you to death, as I always say, yeah, but they're not really responding. They're not really listening. They say, oh, yeah, I have the budget. Oh, yeah, we have the need. Oh, yeah, I have the authorization from my boss to buy. And oh, but at the end, they're like, oh, can you send me more information? Or, gee, I just have to get with so-and-so. Yeah, but you told me earlier that you were the decision maker and there was nobody else needed to be on this call. Yeah, but, I really have to, so our job as a business owner, when we're hiring, when we're talking to potential suppliers, customers, clients, patients, members, partners, anything at all for our business, any kind of negotiation at all, our job is to be a judge of people. And this is, it'll be on reruns for who knows how long, but it's a great lesson, great show to watch for business owners, salespeople, whose job is to get to the truth and figure out, for a salesperson or a business owner, it's for when you're dealing with a prospect, what they really want and whether the solution you have is a good fit or not, and whether they are actually really in the market or they're just wasting their time and yours or whatever's happening. Well, Judge Judy was, a stickler for not wasting her time, not answering the questions. That's a yes or no question. Like one of the common Judaisms, I think they call them, like her snappy, witty remarks and comebacks, like a lot of fun. And I think that also when Oprah, just before Oprah finished her reign as the queen of TV, actually Judge Judy was getting higher ratings. I remember some quote that said, Judge Judy took over and became the Oprah when Oprah left the scene. And actually, she was kind of overtook Oprah before Oprah left the scene. So just an amazing success story. Judge Judy Shineland. Judge Judy. A lot of other lessons, by the way. She ran her business, her career on her own terms. She would fly from her home in New York on a private jet to L.A. to film the episodes. And I think once there was an interview that asked, how many days do you actually work? And she was like 5 days a month, like 2 or 3 days every other week. And they would tape, a dozen episodes a day or something and tape a whole, month of shows in just a few days. And so she, got out there, got it done, and still had a lifestyle, still enjoyed herself. I'm a big fan of that. I talked to a client this morning who I've been trying to get a hold of him, calling. We're playing phone tag. He's on the East Coast, I'm on the West Coast, so I'm already off by 3 hours. If I'm calling him first thing in the morning to me, the business day, 9 a.m., it's already afternoon for him. And finally got a hold of him today, and he was like, yeah, I get everything running like a top, systems in place, business running real smooth, and I go in the morning, make sure everything's all right, and then I'm out. And I was like, that's what I figured. I got to call you earlier because I keep calling at a convenient or a normal time for me. And I'm like, no, I'll bet he's got things so well in hand, and he does. And that's another business lesson, and Judge Judy did that too, where she could work an average of 1 day a week and make $47 million a year. So hats off to Judge Judy. Judge Judy, happy birthday. And by the way, she's not just retiring at the age of 79. It's her 79th birthday today, born October 21st, 1942. Another famous person, born in November 1942, about to be 79, who is famously has not all of his faculties demented. And people say, like, well, at his age, what do you expect? And he can just barely read the teleprompter and doesn't even know what he's saying, and he's not really running the government, and blah, 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 blah. It's not age, folks, okay? It's not age. Judge Judy is older, wiser, sharper, and has all of her faculties, and so do lots of other people. So hats off to Judge Judy for some more longevity, some more entertainment. Another thing she said, another good lesson, she said, being a good judge isn't enough. You've got to be entertaining. You got to have a sense of humor. And I say it a lot, it's the same in business, okay? If you're just doing sales calls and someone asks you something and you're just kind of, oh yeah, here are the numbers and the facts and the figures and the whatever, and you're not fun to be around and entertaining and have a good sense of humor and have a good personality, like you're just not going to do as well. So for salespeople, for business owners, I always talk about edutainment. You want to educate people, but you want to entertain as well. It's another lesson for Judge Judy. There are so many. I should have looked it up before. Now I'm going to go check it out, look her up. I suggest you do look into it a little bit. Tremendous success story. And hats off to Judge Judy. Happy birthday. And a wish for many more. And that'll do it for Throwback Thursday, October 21st, 2021. I'll be back again tomorrow on Foundation Friday as the sun sets in the west. And now it's looking pretty good in the iPhone. So hopefully you're having a great view from wherever you live of whatever you like to look at. And I'll catch you back here again tomorrow. Thanks for being here today. Over and out. Bye-bye.